What's going on, guys? Niko here, and in this 4-part video series, we are going to be breaking down the top 20 melodies written by Avicii. Now, the way I discovered these was by going through the lyrics of every single song Avicii ever wrote, breaking down all the chord progressions, breaking down all the melodies, and what I've done is I've compiled them into this 4-part video series. I highly suggest you watch each one of these videos from start to finish if you want to improve your songwriting, if you want to improve your overall creative process, because I will tell you, when I went through this, I was blown away by what I learned. And now I'm going to be sharing everything that I learned throughout this entire process. Now, the 4-part video series, the first 4 songs are going to be Levels, SOS, Fade Into Darkness, Aint A Thing, and Freak. So with that being said, let's get to work. Quick announcement before we jump into these melodies. I'm giving away a free piano lesson, so comment down below piano mastery. I'm going to be selecting one winner every Friday from the comment section. Additionally, you guys should get your hands on my free Avicii chord progression MIDI pack. I've taken all the chord progressions, put them into MIDI form so my fellow producers can use them. Hope you guys enjoy that. Now let's get into the melodies. All right, so the first melody we're going to go over is Levels, and it sounds like this. And I'm going to play everything on the white keys, just so you guys at home have a much easier time, because once we introduce different keys and black keys, it gets confusing. So to standardize all these Avicii melodies we're going through, it's going to be on all the white keys. Now, the chord progression is an A minor, C, G, and F, but we're really concerned about the melody here. So the melody sounds like this. All right, so let's break down the melody by each component. So the first part is this. So what Avicii has right here is, this is just the 6, 5, and 3. And then he has 2, 1, 1. So I like to look at a lot of this stuff breaking down the melodies by numbers and by melody starters, because when you break down the best melodies, you'll see there's a lot of consistencies between all of them. And the one really key differentiating factor is going to be the chord progression it's with, and then also the rhythmic patterns that are associated with it. And my view on getting rhythmic patterns is by playing the songs. I don't think it's by, it's either by playing the songs or messing around, drawing in, after you play the melody, drawing in different note variations or messing around with stuff in your DAW. But the way Avicii came up with these progressions, he sat at a piano, started with melody starters, and then went from there. So anyway, that's the first part of it. And then the second part of it, he just repeats the notes C and B, so the 1 and the 7. It's really it, right? So when you look at it and break it down, you're like, damn, it's not that complicated, but it's so catchy and iconic because he uses the 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. It's basically taking a cluster chord and making it a 6 chord and going down like that. And then he repeats the same thing again, so he goes back to, and then the last part of this melody, it actually goes all further down. He's using the 5, 6, 1 or the 5, 6, 8 melody starter, whatever you want to refer to this as, right? He's going with these 3 notes. So let's play through it one more time. And this song repeats over and over and over and over again throughout the entire song. So the key takeaways you can take from this are that these 5 notes right here, messing around with some sort of arpeggiation or some sort of melodic rhythmic pattern, and you get that Avicii, you get that happy vibe, that almost like a jingle vibe, right? Because that's how you can form a lot of jingles. You start off with that, and boom, then you're making it. So that's Levels. That's really the main takeaways from that. The other takeaways are the fact that the first time he's doing the bum, 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 bum is contrasted at the end with the. So you notice those two, you're basically copy and pasting. If you have 4 bars, 1 bar, 1 bar, 1 bar, 1 bar, 2 of them are the same thing. And then 2 of them are almost, like 2 of them are twins, and then 2 of them are twins, but they're not identical twins, right? So that's the way you can look at that melody. And when you're writing melodies, again, this is just something to consider. Now, going to the next song is SOS, and the melody sounds like this. me start that from the beginning. I'll also add in the chord progression. It's going to be an A minor, C, F, and G, I believe. Let me see. Now, the first thing I noticed right away when all this is going on is Avicii's using a lot of repeat notes, right? So if we just play through the first part of this melody, this is SOS right here, guys. So what Avicii is doing, and the way he can create this melody, again, there's the melody starters, you can point out the numbers, but in this case, I like to look at a straight up chord. Now, if we have a C major cluster chord, and you form the cluster chord with the 1-1-2 strategy, and all that means you start with your root, you count one semitone up to the right, you count one semitone up to the right, and then the 5, and again, the strategies are for like in between notes. What he does, he's like, all right, I have 5 fingers and I have the G right here. All these 5 notes are the 5 notes that comprise of SOS. And if you look at me playing them, so the 5, the 1, the 2, and the 3. These are the notes that you can put your hand on. I'm just messing around, right? But you can see, now that we've broken this down, in the white keys, it's really not that crazy. Now, what's catchy is the way he goes up and down, and uses those repeat notes to really spice up the melody. So when we look at this right here, we're seeing him just going, right? That's the first part of the melody. So he's just going, he's playing really, these notes. And on this E, he's playing the D going into the E. It's almost like a reverse in dance music, like. So that's the first part of the melody. And then the second part, he uses more repeat notes. That's really the only small difference. And repeat notes, again, he repeats the D very quickly before the next note. Like boom, like that, all right? So the second time around the melody, what he does is he goes, and he may add the G in there, I'm not entirely sure, but he uses more repeat notes. So if you watch this slowly, he repeats the C and the D again going into the E. And then we go back to the first part of the melody from the first part. And then the last part, he closes the melody, and he doesn't play this top G anymore, so it sounds like this. So what we can do with this, put our hands on something like here, we can play like. And again, the way you become a great melody writer is you play through a lot of these songs, guys. And if you look at all the top artists, when they were growing up, they were playing music, they were playing on the piano. I say this over and over again. But anyway, that's SOS for you guys to have. And I write the melodies up at the top on the screen. I break them down. I have some notes up there too. You can pause and read those throughout this thing. Now, the next one is Fade Into Darkness. And this one, when I played it, I was like, all right, this is actually crazy. Right here is Fade Into Darkness, a C major chord. And there's a couple other small notes that you can add in here. But Avicii is using root note arpeggiation of a C major chord. Now, there's that 7 in there. Without the 7, it sounds like this. So it's close, but what Avicii does is he uses a couple small little iterative adjustments. So he's just going back and forth arpeggiating. Right? So he's arpeggiating a major chord, and then at the end, he has that 7-to-1 suspension. Really, it's like And you want that resolution, that. And then what he does is he does the same thing. So that's the second part of this melody. He goes root note arp. So he plays the 1 5 1 2, and then he just plays a small little B up. And he repeats that same dun dun to end the second part of the melody. And that's the melody. That's it. I'm transposing this live in my head, so I made a couple mistakes there, but please forgive me on that. Really, all I wanted to show you was that you can take the one chord of the key that you're in, the major key, and again, I don't like using minor keys or anything like that. I like to refer to everything in the major. The one chord, and even that's from a Guns N' Roses song. Na 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 na. I don't know exactly what song it is, but point is, fade into darkness. Boom. This is it right here with a little bit of 7-1 and 2-1 in there. That's it. I play it up here. And when you're playing some of these melodies, when Avicii was playing them on the piano, he played them in different keys that felt really comfortable. And that's when I knew this dude, before I knew that Avicii played piano and everything else, when I played his songs on the piano, I'm like, these feel so comfortable on the hand. I'm like, that dude played piano. So rest in peace, Avicii. Dude changed the world for sure. And he also impacted, my musical career and everything like that tremendously. So that's Fade Into Darkness. Ain't a Thing. Let's go on. We got 2 more in this, the 4-part series. So we break down all these things. These go on and on and on, right? What we got here is we got Ain't a Thing, and it sounds like this. So in my head, I'm like, wow, this is so similar to SOS. And when you transpose it all to one key, then you can start seeing the similarities. So we have this, these 3 notes right here. Really, that's all he's messing with. And he's messing with this D minor, E minor, F chord progression. So the first part, I think, there's different sections of the melody, but it's really broken down into 2 halves. This is the first half. And again, you hear that repeat note, the D into the E. So it's just a 1, 2, 3, and then he goes. And then the second time around, instead of playing, he goes. So again, a very small adjustment to that first part of the melody, right? And then he goes up higher. And then instead of using, the 1, 2, and 3, he adds in the 4 very briefly. The F right here. So here we go. I'm messing around there, but I got some inspiration from that, right? So I got some inspo from playing that. I'm like, I like this rhythm better, right? Maybe I heard a rhythm, when I was in the car. Like sometimes you'll hear different sounds that like affect your subconscious and the way you songwrite. And it's crazy. Like they'll come out on the piano, you'll never know where it came from, but it was always probably something else you heard or something that your mind just, came up with over time. All right, last melody in this one is Freak, and it goes like this. Okay, that's how it sounds. All right, so we have, this is like a common theme with Avicii. Notice these 5 notes, right? These 5 notes are very similar to, which one was it? I think it was Levels. So the 1, 2, 3 going up. and then the 5-6-1. These are the Avicii melody starters, guys. So you keep on going through here. That's the first part, and then instead of going, he goes and then plays that repeat note G into the A. And then we have, again, a 5-3-2. And I'm glazing over these melodies because I'm not going to break out the sheet music of all this stuff. That gets way too in-depth. I'm just trying to have you guys take away bits and parts from each little melody so that you get inspired to write something a little bit more unique. So that's Freak, right? I'll play it one more time for you guys. But again, you can see the patterns Avicii's doing. You can see how he repeats certain things. And he makes a couple small adjustments just to keep the listener engaged. And that's what this guy was so good at doing. His melodies weren't crazy complicated like Mozart symphonies, but they were catchy enough, and he made a little bit small adjustments in each part of it to keep the listener engaged. So here's Freak one more time. Whoops. And I'm playing that again in the key of C major. So with that being said, that concludes this video. This is, again, the first part of the Avicii Melody series. I highly, highly suggest you watch through all of these videos because one small thing, guys, that you take away from these videos can dramatically change your melody. And again, if you write a catchy melody, it may turn into the next levels. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, that's impossible. Levels was this. Guys, melodies get written every day, and sometimes the one is all that you need. So keep on going through these videos. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment, like, subscribe down below. Turn on the notifications bell. And again, comment piano mastery because you could win a free one-on-one session with me, and I'll go over whatever song that you want to go over, break down the melody, whatever it may be. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.